I'm a fire in my laser!
What's going on, boys and girls? SSJ QUINnY here, and today I am making a quick video of all the forms and transformations that Cell achieves throughout the series with explanations. Now, towards the end of the video, I'm going to include video game transformations as well as exclusive Dragon Ball Heroes transformations that Cell goes through. But in the beginning, it'll just be all three cells from all three timelines and all their forms. The other stuff will be at the end. Also, if you're interested in learning more about Cell's history and you're a little confused, thinking, why is there three cells from different timelines, I have a video on the history of Cell. It is my last video. I will leave it in the description below. But anyways, without further ado, let's get started with the first form. So first we have present timeline Cell. We only see him in this form before he's killed by Krillin. Moving on. Then we have the Cell from future Trunks' timeline. We only see him in his imperfect form and then he gets destroyed. Moving on. Now we have the Cell that becomes Perfect Cell. He's from a further future timeline that we do not see, we just know. He starts off like this. Finally, this Cell matures into his imperfect form and ambushes Trunks and kills him. Then, somehow, even though Cell is hardly any bigger than Trunks, he couldn't fit in the time machine, so he thought the best idea was to turn into an egg and then go into the time machine and go back to the present timeline. But there was a drawback to this. Cell got to Earth a little bit before Trunks and King Cold and Frieza arrived, but because he had to revert to an egg, he had to burrow in the ground in this cocoon form for about 4 years. Next, we have Imperfect Cell. He becomes this form again and goes around and starts absorbing a bunch of people. In this form, he is still weaker than Piccolo fused with Kami, and he is also weaker than the androids of the present timeline because they are quite a bit stronger than the ones from the future. This may not be another form, but now we have Imperfect Cell after he absorbs a bunch of people through his tail. Now, it might not seem like much, but after he absorbs a lot of people, he gets a lot stronger. He becomes stronger than the androids, he also is stronger than Piccolo and Kami fused, and he is evenly matched with Android 16. Sorry guys, but I just had to include that clip. Props to MAJIN Vidal for making that video. That video was made literally back when YouTube was first coming out. So yes, Semi-Perfect Cell. This form is achieved after Imperfect Cell absorbs Android 17. He becomes one step closer to being perfect, but he still obviously is not perfect. Jeez, one of the ugliest forms of those dang fish lips. I just hate it. Anyways, he at first in his imperfect form, he was tied with Android 16, absolutely even, and in this form, he obliterates him. He is much, much stronger now. Moving on. Next, we have Perfect Cell. Yes, he finally did it. After absorbing Android 17, then Android 18, Cell becomes Perfect Cell. He is now many times stronger than he was in his imperfect form, and basically no one can match up to him except for, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Spoiler alert. But yes, this is the perfect form that he achieves, and he is just insanely strong. In this form, he appears cool and composed, but don't be fooled. When he starts to lose, he will do anything. He will play dirty if he has to do it to win. When Trunks achieves Ultra Super Saiyan / Super Saiyan Grade 3, he thinks it's the best thing ever. In fact, he gets so cocky that he doesn't even realize that the form sacrifices a bunch of speed. And Cell shows him this. He goes right into the form himself. He tells him that it's an easy transformation to do, and that is a very stupid thing to do. He goes into Ultra Super Saiyan mode, shall we say, or just, a buff version that sacrifices speed for power, just to show Trunks, hey, I can do it too, and it's a bad idea. Here we have Ultra / Buff Cell beyond his limits. Oh yes, was this ever a satisfying form? This is basically the exact same as the form that he used before, except he pushes it a step further, and he doesn't just get buff, he gets huge. Now, the difference is that before he was telling Trunks and mocking him, saying it was a stupid form. Now, it was so satisfying to see him use this form because he totally just lost his cool and used it to try to beat Gohan, forgetting that now that he's even bigger and even buffer, sure, he might be strong, but he will not be able to hit Gohan at all. What a satisfying thing to see. Next, we have the form that Cell achieves after he eats everybody in an attempt to win. No, I'm just kidding. This is the form that Cell undergoes when he decides he wants to self-destruct and blow up everyone with him. He already tried blowing up the Earth with a huge Kamehameha in his perfect form, and then, after he realizes that Gohan can deflect that, he decides to go into a self-destruction form. You may think, why didn't they just hit him with a giant Kamehameha or fly him into outer space? As ugly and as hideous this form is, it was a very smart idea to turn into this form. Cell says that any shock to his body would just blow him up sooner. The only thing that could have been done is what Goku did. He teleported him to King Kai's planet and died with him. Honestly, can't think of what else could have been done. Can you guys? Comment down below if you can. Next, we have Super Perfect Cell / Plot Armor Cell. Let me explain. So basically, Cell achieved this form on accident. He didn't mean to achieve this form at all. It doesn't explain it very well in the English dub, so let me explain here what it says in the manga and in the Japanese sub. When Cell blew up, he explained that he did not plan on regenerating, but there is a small cluster of cells in his head, and if they aren't destroyed, he can go on regenerating and regenerating and regenerating, correct? Now, when he came back, the reason why he was perfect, because the Saiyan cells in him gave him a ginormous Zenkai boost. So big, in fact, that he was stronger than his perfect form with 18 in it. Basically, he said that he powered up like Gohan did. As you can see, he got the electricity in his aura and everything now, right? Now, here's why I don't think this makes a lot of sense. I understand the Zenkai boost, but how come when he got hit by Goku's instant Kamehameha, when he literally blew the whole upper half of his body off, he didn't get any stronger at all? I would consider that near death. Also, wouldn't you say that when he got hit by the instant / warp Kamehameha, that his whole head got blown off? Now, I would understand if the nucleus or core or whatever, flew somewhere else and he regenerated from that, but his lower body is actually the thing that regenerated. Last time I checked, a core in the nucleus of your head is not in your lower body, so how come his legs, grew back? Anyways, that's just a lot of things that don't make sense with Cell. I don't understand, Goku blew his whole upper body off, and again, if the core was still intact, that would make sense, but you think it would regenerate not from his legs, from somewhere else, like the core would, regenerate on the ground or something like that. Anyways, that is my little rant right there, but yes, this form is stronger than all of them. He's still not as strong as Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, as an injured Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was able to beat him, but I'm thinking that he's kind of close. Anyways, let's move on. And actually, if you feel like it, comment down below and tell me what you thought about what I just said there. Do you agree that this form, how he achieved it was a little it just didn't make sense? It was kind of for plot, even though I love the form. Okay, now moving on for real. Next, we have the Cell Juniors. Now, don't take these guys lightly. Long story short, Cell decides to shit out these little guys through his tail and gets them to attack all of the Z Warriors to make Gohan angry. Now, these guys are strong. Like, they could take on Vegeta and Trunks after they trained for a whole nother year in the hyperbolic time chamber. They were just barely holding their own. And all of the other Z Warriors, including Piccolo, got their asses kicked by these guys. They are very, very strong. Moving on. Next, Cell makes an appearance in Dragon Ball Super when he appears in Goku's image training. And another illusion of Cell also makes an appearance in Dragon Ball Super in that weird cave area that Goku and Krillin trained in. Next, we have Super Perfect Cell from Dragon Ball GT.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, this is Cell in Hell from Dragon Ball GT. He's still in his super perfect form. Him and Frieza team up and try to take out GT Kid Goku. As you can tell, they mess up the drawing with him a little bit. He does not look near as good. Now, I'm not saying Super hasn't messed up drawings. They've actually done a much worse job than this, but still, who even is this? Next, we have Cellin. This is a form of Cell we only see in Budokai 1. This form happens in a little dream that Cell has in the 10 days before the Cell Games tournament when he's waiting. And he says, oh man, after he has this dream, I think I made the tournament too long. Long story short, in this dream, he goes to absorb Android 18, and he accidentally absorbs Krillin, and of course they make fun of Krillin and make Cell into this little shrimp-looking Cell, which is much weaker, and Tien and Yamcha basically shit-stomp him, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Really cool. I like how Budokai 1 did this, and I wish more Dragon Ball games made cool little stories like this. Moving on. Next, we have MAJIN Cell. He just appears as an enemy on the story mode for Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2. Again, a really cool idea, and I like how they add little things like this. Moving on. Next, we have Buu with Cell absorbed. Now, in this Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 game, if you remember the story mode, it was like a little board game. And if the Super Buu piece met up with the MAJIN Cell piece, he would absorb him and end up looking like this. Next, we have Dark Dragon Ball Cell from Dragon Ball Heroes. Then we have Cell X from Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball Online. Not gonna do any explanation on where he comes from. You can just search someone up online, because if I do, it'll make this video too long. Then we have a Super Android 17 and Cell Fusion to make of this. Now it's time for some of the fan-made ones. First off, we have Golden Cell. It is possible that he could do this form, I guess, because he has Frieza cells in him. Then we have Super Saiyan Blue Cell. I guess since he has Saiyan cells, it's possible for him to go Super Saiyan Blue if he trained enough as well. Next, we have Super Saiyan Blue Golden Cell. Now, yes, I know this is fan-made and it's very far-stretched, but theoretically, it's possible for him to be able to access these transformations. And if he really trained, why couldn't he access both of them at the same time? Wouldn't this be crazy, though? He'd literally be the strongest character in the entire show if he could somehow do this. And he could probably access Ultra Instinct if he really wanted to as well. But, yeah, like, I think Cell has the most potential out of anybody in the entire show due to the mixture of cells that he has, and if he could access his transformations, he'd be unstoppable. Anyways, that is all I got for the video today. If you feel like I missed anything, please comment down below and tell me what you think I missed. And if you liked it, please let me know. And again, if you anything you think I can work on, just, again, let me know down below. Because if you don't let me know, can't get any better on making videos. So anyways, again, that is everything. Thank you very much for watching, and have a fantastic day. Boop!